Welcome to lesson 3 of the Anger Management Facilitator training. My name is Desiree Cochran-Norfolk. So today we're going to be talking about program structure and curriculum. So in this lesson, we're going to review how to design and deliver effective anger management sessions. And we're going to discuss the typical session flow, the required curriculum topics, and the importance of accurate documentation for the courts and the probation and the treatment providers. A well-structured program is going to ensure that our clients know what to expect each week. And this consistency is crucial for building trust and engagement. Clear structure is going to allow the facilitator to cover all of the mandated content while also leaving space for practice and reflection. Also, the courts and the probation officers expect evidence-based consistency in anger management programs. So if your sessions are disorganized or they're incomplete, you risk undermining both your credibility and the client's progress. So structured programming is going to balance accountability, but also with flexibility. So that's going to meet the group's needs. So each session is typically going to follow a cycle. So we want to check in with the participants, present the educational material, then practice the coping skills through role plays or exercises, and then close out with a reflection and their homework. And this rhythm not only keeps the sessions organized, but it also keeps or helps us to reinforce that learning across multiple formats, like listening, doing, and reflecting. So the educational portion of the session is where we as facilitators are going to introduce the key concepts, like the anger cycle, the anger meter, triggers, coping strategies. And this is not supposed to be like lecture heavy, but more of like an interactive discussion that encourages clients to connect the theory to their lived experience. And clients are going to learn best when the information is presented simply and clearly, and it's tied to real world examples. So for instance, instead of just explaining cognitive distortions, the facilitator might describe how assuming someone disrespected you on purpose is going to fuel that unnecessary anger. So education should always prepare the clients for skills practice. And skills practice is going to be the most important part of each session. So through role plays and problem-solving tasks and guided exercises, clients are going to rehearse the strategies that they can use outside of the group. And the facilitator is modeling healthy responses. And that facilitator is also going to provide like corrective feedback so that the clients can leave with the tools and then they can immediately apply them in real-world situations. When we think about the reflection piece, this is where clients are making personal meaning out of the session. So asking questions like, how could you apply this strategy this week? That's going to help the client to internalize what they've learned. So reflection activities can be like individual journaling or group discussions or partner sharing, however you want to do it. And then the homework is going to extend the learning beyond the group setting. So we want to give them simple assignments like tracking their triggers this week or practicing breathing techniques at least once a day or use an I statement once a day in a conflict. And that's going to provide them with real world experience, real world practice. And then the facilitator should review their homework at the start of each session to emphasize accountability and progress. And all programs need to address the triggers, since those are the starting points of the anger cycle. Facilitators are going to guide the clients in identifying those emotional and physical and social triggers. And that's going to help them develop awareness of what is setting them off. And without that step, other coping strategies can't be effectively applied. So teaching these coping skills is going to ensure that the clients have really practical tools for interrupting the anger escalation. And these may include relaxation methods like deep breathing, or the progressive muscle relaxation, or maybe even using like visualization exercises or taking a time out before they react. But also equally important is teaching the cognitive reframing, helping the clients replace that distorted thought with a balanced one. And also structured problem solving skills. Facilitators should emphasize that coping skills are learned through practice and must be used consistently to be effective. And poor communication is going to often drive anger and conflict. So facilitators have to teach assertive communication, and that's going to balance respect for themselves and for others. And that's in direct contrast to the aggressive or the passive styles. So tools like active listening and I statements are going to give clients healthier ways to express their needs and emotions. Relapse prevention in anger management is going to involve identifying situations where clients are most likely to lose control. And these may include like stress at work or relationship disputes or alcohol use. So the clients have to learn to anticipate and plan for those challenges. And the facilitators are going to guide clients in developing coping plans and step-by-step strategies for managing those risky situations. And also in creating accountability systems like check-ins with peers or sponsors or supervisors. So relapse prevention is going to emphasize that anger control is a lifelong process. It's not just a one-time fix. Now let's talk about documentation for a second, because this is essential for ethical practice and also compliance with any referral agencies or your agency. And we have to keep accurate attendance logs and complete progress notes and also prepare summary reports when that's required of us. And sometimes we may even have to do assessments. And so courts and probation officers are going to depend on those documents to evaluate compliance and progress. So making accuracy and timeliness non-negotiable is key here. These probation officers, they want it when they ask for it. So having like a 24-hour turnaround time is great, so that they can have that information, because if we don't get that information to them when they're asking for it, our clients could end up back in jail. And the documentation, for it to be good, it needs to be clear, it needs to be factual, and it needs to be objective. The notes should describe what happened in session. Like the client identified 3 personal triggers and practice role play exercise. We don't want to use any like vague or judgmental language like the client was difficult. So professional documentation is going to reflect both the facilitator's credibility and also the integrity of the program. So in legal settings, records need to be subpoenaed. So the facilitators must ensure that the notes are accurate and respectful and defensible. We don't want somebody getting a hold of a note where we were just putting a judgment or an opinion on there, and then they can use that against them later. Just keep it to the facts. Keep it objective. Use professional language here. So to summarize here, effective anger management programs are going to be built on structure and consistency. The facilitator has to include education. We have to make sure that they're doing skills practice and reflection. And we also have to cover all of the required curriculum topics and document accurately. And when we follow these guidelines, it's going to provide our clients with some meaningful tools for change and also ensure that your program is meeting any professional standards. So to close, let's just reflect on your own facilitation practice. How do you currently structure your sessions? Which curriculum topics feel most natural for you and which might maybe require more preparation? And also think about your documentation practices. Are your notes objective and clear? And how can you improve your reporting so it's consistently meeting the expectations of courts and probation and treatment providers? Reflection is going to help ensure that you're not only teaching effectively, but also maintaining that compliance and credibility. So please place your answers down in the comment section below.